Well, hi guys. I thought it was appropriate to just sort of sit down and just spend a few minutes just sort of really properly introducing you to the invisible addiction. I've just sat down and put my Gambling with Lives t-shirt on. In truth, it probably is a little bit too big, but hey, I'm gonna stick it in the wash and hopefully it shrinks. So yeah, I just wanted to, I suppose, just spend a little while just to kind of just talk to you about what this channel was about and how it started, a little bit more about me, and just really the aims for the channel or the project. So I suppose just to spend a moment or two, introduce myself. My name's Alex Lewis. I'm 30 years old. And I live with my girlfriend in Southsea in Portsmouth. It feels a bit like a dating application, doesn't it? Yeah, by day I'm a teaching assistant at a local secondary school. But for the past sort of 7 to 8 years, I've been a musician. I've been a drum teacher and a drummer as well. So playing a couple of bands, one of which we met on a cruise ship, the Ventura. So that's kind of me. That's what I do. And throughout my 20s, I had a gambling addiction, which was mostly in casinos and betting shops. We called it the shredder, the fixed odd betting terminals, on the roulette wheel. This was before the spins were limited to £2. You could just previously spend £100 in 20 seconds. It would never be that much, but because of the nature of my job, I'd always have quite a lot of cash. So it was just very easy to spend the money, and also there was more money coming back in the following week. So yeah, so roulette was my big downfall. Very addicted to that, and then, as I say, I got into the casinos, which wasn't very good at all, because then I started spending longer amounts of time there. This is when I was sort of living in London, and spending like hundreds of pounds, because I had a business account. I used to run this thing called Hot Shots Football, which was like a six-a-side league for blokes in Newbury. That's my hometown, and it's a bit embarrassing to say, but it's just the truth. But that's what I did. I used to use that money, 100 odd quid a week or whatever I used to make, and just gamble it away. But I had two accounts. I had my personal account and I had that business account. So I was just like doubling up my money basically. Spending £500-600 easily every time I went to the casino. So yeah, but look, if you want to find out more about my story, you can listen to the podcast. I appreciate it's about an hour long, but goes into a bit more detail. So yeah, look, so that's kind of where things were for me. It led to a lot of other things, like depression. I used to smoke a lot of marijuana. I don't know if this was just a thing that I did in my 20s or if it was linked to the gambling. It was me being rebellious. I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. But certainly when I used to then gamble online, I used to then play a lot of blackjack. That was my next craze. I was like, right, I'm not going to do the roulette, so I'll just do the blackjack instead. Yeah, and then it was just like I just smoke a lot of weed. Like I set my laptop up at home, I'd go out and have a joint, I'd come back and I'd settle in and play blackjack for like hours up into the early hours. I was living back at home with my parents. I had no money. I was ashamed. I was just caught in this loop of like money coming in, money going out, and more money going out than what was coming in. So it's just this sort of perpetual cycle. And in the evening, I would say to myself, whilst I was playing online, I'd be like, right, I'll have a break in a minute. And the amount of times I'd have to rush to the loo because I was bursting, because I just didn't take my eyes. I was just transfixed from playing the game, and then I wouldn't have any. I would hardly sleep, or I wouldn't sleep very well, because then I'd be like, well, I'll go and have another joint, at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I just didn't get any sleep, and it was just this horrible cycle. So anyway, so it led to a lot of problems, so look, how does this mean that I'm here talking about the invisible addiction? During lockdown, I set up a vlog. Well, I'd been vlogging like on and off for about a year, and I set up a podcast, and I thought, it got to the third week, and I was like, God, I haven't got anything else to say. So I was like, well, I might as well just talk about my gambling addiction. I thought, well, this is a real story, subconscious or not. I don't know if it was like something I wanted to get off my chest, but look, I did it. Call it crazy or egotistical. That's something that I've had to deal with. Is like announcing to the world that you have a problem with your gambling. But look, it was that cliche, like a weight off my shoulders. I did it, and it was just, I felt like cleansed. I just felt, oh, all these people that I'd been lying to, or I'd not spoken to for years, or I just felt a bit weird around. It's like all of a sudden they knew the secret, it was very emotional, but I feel a lot better. I feel a little bit emotional talking about it now, but it was good to get off my chest, and I had a lot of support and encouragement. So after that, I had a lot of listens. Way more listens than I usually get, and I don't know if that was just because people want to hear an addiction story or what, but a few people said it was good because it was the first time I'd actually been a bit more emotional. I'd been a bit more human, and that's the thing about an addiction with my gambling, is I just felt so detached. I could kind of act normal to you, but I just felt like unemotional. I just felt numb. I didn't care about anything. I was just like, you could do anything to me, this is a true story. Like Prince, the artist Prince, was playing in the Hippodrome Casino, and I was there playing roulette, and Black 17, my number came in like 2 or 3 times. I can't remember. It's just sort of clouded judgment, but it came in, and I had all these chips going off to cash it in, and I was like, oh, hang on a minute, that sounds familiar. It was that song, I Want to Be Your Lover. I want to be your lover. Like, really good, recognisable song. And I just said to one of the people behind, I can't even remember. I was getting told off because I tipped this person. Anyway, I'm getting a bit sidetracked from the story. And I was just like, is that Prince? And I'm like, yeah, it's Prince. I just was like, oh, great. And I went to cash in my chip, and then I just went straight back to the tables. Like, it was just unbelievable. But anyway, so I've lost my train of thought. Sorry about that, guys. So my brother then said to me, he's like, Alex, this is really good. This is really connected with people. Why don't you do more about the gambling? Like, tell a bit more about your story, help others, and that's what this channel's about. Really, is hopefully through my experience, and that's all I can give you is my experience. I can help you if you're watching this and you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do, where to turn to, because that was me. And people are like, oh, just go to Gamblers Anonymous, but for me that was a big deal. Like, I didn't really want to, and it. Look, it's really easy for me to say this, and I don't want to come across as like patronising or like you should do this or whatever. But like, I've overcome it, and so can you. And I'm free of my problems. I'm not at all. There's still a lot of stuff to get through. But one thing I will say is setting this up is that actually there's been nothing but support, and actually it's really quite nice to like have things in common. So I've been speaking to people on Twitter and Instagram, and I've recorded a few more interviews. A chap called Darren from Rule It Out, like, honestly, brilliant guy. But you feel like bonded, I suppose it's like people, if you're in the army, you feel bonded because you have that connection, brothers in arms sort of thing. And it kind of feels like that amongst people that are in this like recovery space to do with gambling. So So look, yeah, that's the main aim really of the Invisible Addiction, is to interview people, to speak to people. As I say, I'm no podcaster, I'm no interviewer specialist. It's quite DIY. There's a few bits in there I'm like, oh god, why did I say that? But like my counsellor said when I got counselling, because that was a big thing, is I didn't really feel like I had an identity. I felt like loss of identity. She said, like, all you can be is just be yourself, and that's it, isn't it? It's the cliche, be yourself. But I'm a massive overthinker, quite a deep thinker. I'll probably watch this video back and go, oh god, it's too long. Is it too long? Yeah, it's already been over 10 minutes. It's like, keep this down to 10 minutes. So look, I just want to say that I'm here. These videos are going to be like my experiences. I'll talk about some stories. Obviously, like, if you follow the Invisible Addiction on Instagram and Twitter, it gets quite political, because obviously, like, in this country, like, we still allow like gambling advertising. Like, we don't allow tobacco or alcohol to be sponsored on your shirt in football. I just put up a post this morning. 61% of like Premiership and Championship clubs are sponsored by betting companies. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Yeah, I could go on. There's just so much to kind of talk about, and I don't want to kind of come across as like a crusader, like I'm going to change the world, but I genuinely feel like doing this channel and speaking to people on Twitter and just raising awareness, and even just amongst my friends that follow the Invisible Addiction and stuff like that, it's just putting more seeds of thought into people's minds of like, actually, yeah, do you know what, we need to change something. Something does need to change in this country to do with gambling. And yeah, so look, there's obviously a lot of things going on, but the main aim is to raise awareness about problem gambling, to highlight the effects of addiction to younger people. I spoke to a school teacher in episode 1 of the podcast. She is, nothing is being done. They talk about alcohol and drugs and, sex and relationships, but nothing about gambling at all. Nothing. So more education needs to be done. So that's where I feel like I can slot in and hopefully help. I would love to go and to do some talks, or just speak to groups of students or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, there we go. I think I've covered off everything I wanted to say. Sorry for blabbing on, but I think this is probably going to be the style of the videos. Yeah, that's all I've got to say. So thanks for watching. If you haven't already, do recommend buying a Gambling with Lives t-shirt, £10 plus P&P. Fantastic cause, something I feel strongly about. And anyway, look, I'm blabbing. I'm going on far too long. How long's this been? Nearly 14 minutes. Oh my god, who's going to watch this all the way through? That's what I always wonder. Anyway, I'll speak to you soon. All right, cheers, guys. See you later. All right, bye.